question.
That's right.
Again, who's going to be the number 1 seed? The Bills move a step toward having a chance for it because if they end up tied with the Chiefs now, they've got the edge because they beat the Chiefs. They got blown out by the Ravens. Don't want to tie the Ravens. And don't have to worry about that now. The Ravens are up to 4 losses. Catch the Chiefs, tie the Chiefs, you're the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
And that's why yesterday was significant. It is potentially highly relevant to where the rematch will be played if there is one in January.
Yeah, definitely. You want to move on? We going to the Bills-Chiefs game?
Yeah.
Here? You want to do that? Okay,
Yeah.
I wasn't
That's
sure.
what I
I
was
wasn't
doing.
sure if you were like just buckling up the MVP combo.
That was my way of transitioning to the other game.
The game was awesome. I mean, it didn't disappoint. Again, never like maybe as high scoring as we expect with Mahomes and Josh Allen. They end up being more of a defensive battle and all of that. But I do think the Bills are a little different this year. And I said this last night on Football Night in America, and we talked about it a little bit when we were in the viewing room, where Josh Allen's awesome. He still made great plays. But it didn't feel like the burden was totally on him to have to make every great play throughout the game. He had a little help. Khalil Shakir made some plays after he caught the ball and got some yak. Amari Cooper got behind the defense twice, made a big catch at both of those with a good throw. So he's got people there, and there was no Keon Coleman and Dalton Kincaid yesterday, who is his favorite target. So, and then I think added on top of that, and where they're different than I think years past, especially when they match up against the Chiefs, I think this is the first time that the Chiefs are like, oh no, and I think this is why we saw Josh Allen with some people open down the field. The Chiefs had to go, whoa, we really have to like put some people in there to stop the run because the Bills' offensive line is different than years past. They can overpower you that way, to where it felt like the Chiefs were a little bit more worried about that than prior years in the matchups. Look at here. It's 6 or 7 guys around the line of scrimmage. I mean, and now we got guys that can beat one-on-one coverage. This Chiefs defense is not as good as last year. They're really damn good, but let's not forget, they lost L'Jarius Sneed. He's an all-pro corner. That changes them a little bit. And I do think the Bills are better on offense and a better football team altogether, and they've closed the gap on the Chiefs. The Chiefs have been the get-it-done football team, but let's be serious. They lost the game yesterday. They could have lost and should have lost probably against the Broncos last week. They could have lost against the Buccaneers the week before that. They squeaked by the Raiders the week before that. I mean, it's been just one thing after another.
Right, but that's who they are.
I know.
They have confidence in that.
They do.
And the difference yesterday was, and we were getting toward that point in the game where it's, oh, crap, they're going to find a way, and the Bills thinking, oh, crap, they're going to find a way. And that's why it was important that the Bills delivered when they did. Aggressive, not blinking, getting it done. The question will be, can it translate to the postseason? And it's so funny. The comments and the takes that upset fan bases, they do it because, I think we've talked about this recently, it speaks directly to the things they worry about when they're trying to fall asleep and they're thinking about their team.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear other people talking about it because they don't want to think about it. But for the Bills, can you beat them in January? Oh, don't talk about that. Let us enjoy beating them now. Fine. Until you beat them in January, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Mahomes is 3-0 against Allen in January. So it doesn't matter until you beat him in January. Can this give you the confidence to do it? Sure. Why not? You beat him in the regular season. Look at the difference. 4-1 in the regular season and 0-3 in the playoffs against the Chiefs since 2020.
Their offense is better in the playoffs. Look at the problem, though. The defense, 35 points a game and all those losses in the playoffs. They get in the playoffs and they get torn apart for some reason. But I don't think that'll be the same this year. And I think and I know the Chiefs have all that magic and all that. But you know me, last year I was in amazement that they turned it around the way they did last year. Can they do it all again and continue to play this way all the way to the Super Bowl? I mean, my full life of being around football and what I've seen wants to say no. But because they kind of did what they did last year, going into the playoffs, you don't want to say no because, they've already proven they can do that. But my football intuition, everything I've ever seen on a screen, studied on film, like I want to go, man, can they really do this? I feel like it's really hard. I don't think their defense is good, but is it the 85 Bears good? No. The offense, it's got like, I don't know. I don't know if I see a silver lining to where it's going to get a whole lot better. Again, yesterday, we saw Xavier Worthy in the first half, but as the game goes on, we don't see any contribution from receivers in the passing game. That is scary. That's hard to think you're going to be able to go all the way to the Super Bowl, beat a team like the Lions in the Super Bowl, beat other great teams along the way. I just don't know. And then I still have questions about the Chiefs, but it's hard to question them because of like what you said. They kind of just find these ways even when they look like this.
11 different players caught passes yesterday for
the
Patrick
Chiefs.
Mahomes. He completed 23 passes to 11 different guys. And that's good. You can throw to the guy who's open, but, most of these are just like
They're little
5-yard gain, 8-yard gain. Travis Kelce had 2 catches for 8 yards.
Right.
Wasn't he back? I thought he was back.
Yeah.
What happened?
No, he's not going to be back against everybody. And, the Bills, of course, have a little knowledge of how to play the Chiefs. The Bills do have a little size in the interior of their defense to where I feel like they're probably like, wait, you can't overpower us in the running game. But there's nobody to take pressure off of the Chiefs with big plays other than Xavier Worthy, and he's very spotty. And the other aspect is because they have no speed at receiver or Xavier Worthy's the only guy there, the Bills weren't afraid. The Bills don't like to play man-to-man, and they played man-to-man. It looked like a lot when I was watching that game on TV yesterday. And I think that speaks to something too. So they match up, I think, a little bit differently than in years past with the Chiefs. And the game was close, and it went down the end and all of that. I understand that. But I think as I watched it, and I'm going to watch it back at some point here in the next day or two, it felt like the Bills were the better team on the field, though. There's no question about that. Outgained them by 100 yards, controlled the clock, and then, of course, we just had to see them slay the beast. And they got down there on 4th and 2, and they said, we're not kicking a field goal. We've seen this movie before. Kick a field goal, right? And give Mahomes enough time to go down and score a touchdown and win the game, and we come away disappointed. This is it. 4th and 2. Put the ball into the hands of the best player on our football team. They ran some man-to-man pick routes. Tried to rub against each other a little bit. The Chiefs looked like they defended it pretty well, but when you do all that man-to-man and you worry about defending all the crossers, there's nobody there to defend the quarterback when he runs. And Josh Allen saw that, and he took off, and damn, he's impressive when he runs for a big guy.
But that's the key. The Chiefs scored to make it 23-21 with 7:53 to go. The Bills got it back and embarked on a 12-play, 70-yard drive that ran the clock 5 minutes and 36 seconds. And
we
up
haven't
by
seen
2
that
scores.
from the Bills. That's
Right.
where they're different this year, I think, a little bit.
Right.
And he's patient to take underneath throws and not go, wait, I got to come back right away with the big play. And they can lean on a little bit of a running game to go, no, we can run it up the middle for 4 or 5 yards when we need to and push you back.
And you know what's funny? 4th and 2 from the 26.
Yeah.
Now, they were leading by 2,
Right.
not trailing by 2, but it was 4th and 2 from the 26 on Thursday night when the Commanders went for it.
Oh, yeah.
But the Commanders were trailing by 2. It was the difference between taking the lead and not taking the lead. For the Bills, it was 1-score game versus 2-score game.
Definitely.
That's why you go for it there, because it's still going to be a 1-score game if we kick a field goal, or if we don't make it, it's still a 1-score game.
Right.
If we score and get the extra point, 9 points, it's night-night. And I still thought, they're going to score 10 in the next 2 minutes and 13 seconds or whatever was left at that point. But that was that, and the Bills get the win. Let's hear a little bit from Bills players about what this win over the previously unbeaten Chiefs means.
Means we got to 9 wins. I know it's from perception, outside perception, it's a really big game, and what it means for both fan bases and the league. We're in week 11. We're 9-2. Last time I checked, 9 wins probably doesn't get you in the playoffs.
It probably does, but you still don't just want to get in the playoffs. And I think they could probably lose the rest of the games and still win the AFC East at this
seriously,
point.
you're right.
So,
you're right.
Yeah, but he understands the work's not done. This is just something that you need to do to try to set the stage for where the rematch is going to be, and you try to draw something from this game that will help you in crunch time of the rematch, if there even is one. How many times have we anticipated a rematch that doesn't happen?
Yeah, right.
And this is where it can become dangerous. How many times have we seen situations, and I wish I could remember one specifically, where we feel like the rematch is coming,
right,
and it gets derailed on the way because somebody's thinking a little bit too much about the rematch,
right,
and they stumble over the opponent
Patriots
before that.
2 years ago, right? Steelers stumbled against the Jaguars. They were talking all of that stuff in the playoffs,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
One, right?
Well, and I go all the way back to Super Bowl.
The rematch will be epic.
I go back to
right?
Super Bowl 20 when we were waiting for the rematch of Chicago and New
Yeah,
England,
right.
and Miami.
Yeah, right.
And New England beats Miami on the way. Now that's one level higher than what I'm thinking here. I'm thinking AFC Championship careening together, but you better be ready the week before and not thinking about that rematch. I hope we get that rematch. We all want that game.
I mean, we got so many great possibilities in the AFC, but I think the big thing, and you kind of hit on it, is it's about trying to position yourself best for the playoffs, be at home. You want to be that. We know that. And it's a year here where we're sitting here, and it does feel like it's up for grabs in the AFC a little bit. We talked about most people anointed the Ravens the kings of the AFC. It feels like, in my opinion, early. Anytime, any show I watch, it's Ravens, 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 Ravens. And I know it's because it's Lamar. Lamar's awesome. He's the MVP. But I do feel like a lot of the NFL media has been like, well, this is their year. And I want to be like, what? They have the worst pass defense in football. Are we sure about that? So what my point is that this is a year where it's there. It's there for Buffalo. Can they continue to get better? Can they stay healthy on the offensive side of the ball? Can they continue to grow some offense around Amari Cooper? Because I think they got enough weapons on the offensive side of the ball to where, Josh Allen doesn't have to be Superman all the time. The defense is always good, well coached. And we see right now in the AFC, there's not one team you can look at to go, they're pretty perfect or they got it all. There's a flaw with everybody. There is a flaw with everybody. I can go to the NFC and go, no, Detroit and Philadelphia really have no flaws as a football team. I'm sorry. They got none. They don't. In the AFC, I don't know if there's a team that you look at to go, ooh, they're flawless. I like them. And the Bills are putting themselves in a good spot.
You know what that means in the AFC? That means injuries will be much more impactful.
It seems like it.
Just not obviously key injuries. The run-of-the-mill stuff.
Yes, right.
This
the
WR2 is gone. Right. We're losing this pass rusher.
Tackles are out for a week.
That's going to have more of an impact when you have flawed teams and they're all bunched together. And it sucks that injuries are going to determine the fates of seasons, but that's what happens because there aren't many teams that are so good they can overcome. Like the Lions. Alex Anzalone's out for 6 to 8 weeks. They'll be fine.
Yeah, right.
Another team would be like, oh, geez.
Yeah,
what are they going to do? How are they going to hold it together?
Right. No, I know. And of course, the Lions, I think, are in a class of their own right now in the NFL. But big win for the Bills yesterday. Good for Josh Allen. Good for the Bills. Sean McDermott. Everybody up there. But like your point and how you started it off and what it's going to be, yes, good. You won. Now you get a chance maybe if they can lose again and you win the tiebreaker, you can get them at home. But no one's going to crown you or say you've arrived until you beat them in the damn playoffs. I'm sorry. That's just the way it's going to be, Buffalo. Hopefully you continue to play good and you can get that number 1 seed and shut everybody up that way.
We were talking about it last night, and Jason Garrett was speaking to the evolution of the Bills, how they gradually are getting better and better, and maybe they're moving toward the point where they can take out the Chiefs. And it gave me a flashback to what I view as the golden age of basketball, where the Pistons had to keep knocking on the door to beat the Lakers. The Bulls had to keep knocking on the door to beat the Pistons.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Bills, like at some point, you keep knocking on the door. And
right.
You either kick it in or you go away.
Yeah.
And this is the year that I think they either kick it in or they go away.
I think so. And I think that's why they made some trades. I think that's why they made a few moves, just because they realized that the time has come. And I think the time is now in the AFC, like we talked about. Kansas City's got flaws on the offensive side of the ball. We all kind of give them a free pass just because we got Mahomes and they find a way to win. And
it's not a free pass. It's an understanding that Mahomes finds a way to win.
I hear you there. But I think this is even it's every bit as concerning as last year. I do think it is. And
you mean when they won the Super Bowl?
I know. I get you. But what I'm saying is I think their defense was better last year. All right? That's all I'm saying. And last year what I would say is when we got to this time of the year, and I did things on my podcast this time of the year last year, I started to go, man, Rashee Rice is starting to become something. He's still young, but they're starting to go to him a lot and grow things around him in the offense. I don't know where I see that right now. That's the only thing I'm saying that's different.
It's got to be Xavier Worthy. I mean, Xavier Worthy's got to step up at some point, and he couldn't step in bounds yesterday.
He has a problem. He can keep, wide
spatial
open.
Awareness
spatial awareness, right? A 45-yard completion. There's nobody around him, right? Way to go. Way to go, Gary and Kristen. Here it is, though. 1st and 10, 13-7. Wide open, just casual with the feet and does not get them in bounds. And this was a drive that, yeah, the Chiefs came away with nothing. They ended up having to punt the ball.
Just drop that toe. What are you thinking?
Right.
Just tap the toe.
2 weeks ago, we saw him wide open for a touchdown against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he didn't get any feet in the end zone with nobody. I mean, in the field of play. So yeah, I don't know if he's in the trust tree to where he can rely on him quite yet in that way.
And folks, here's the point: it's not easy to do. Don't take for granted the guys who can do it. That is a high-level skill. The combination of controlling your eyes, your hands, your upper body, and having the presence of mind and knowledge of where your feet are, to without even looking, just knowing where you are in relation to the rest of the world, knowing when those feet have to come down, and that's from reps and reps and reps. And he needs to just get along a sideline. Didn't you used to play that game when you were a kid? You're tossing football with somebody in the sideline, and you got to get your feet down.
What are you talking about? You think I grew up? I still do that.
Well,
I'm still with me and my son, right?
Yeah.
I'm like here, and I'm like falling out of the room, and he throws it, right? We still do that.
That's how you develop that skill. How does a guy who is, I'm sorry, Xavier, how does a guy who's a first-round pick in the NFL, who's had the success he's had, not already have that baked in? Because it is a product of reps and reps and reps and reps, and kids do that for fun when they're growing up.
To your point, I mean, it's not easy, but that one was rather elementary for this day and age in 2024.
I was trying to give the kid a break.
I know. No, I hear you. And those are the kind of things that makes you wonder, like, how many times did he have catches as a kid, and did he do that? Maybe he was just really fast, and then football kind of fell into his lap. All right, but here's a question I got for you here just before we close out the first segment. Who is the best team? Are you still the Chiefs the best team in the AFC? AFC only here. Yeah. We know they're not the best team. I know that. But the AFC conversation gets interesting.
Yeah. I would still say.
Still give it to them?
I would still say the Chiefs.
And you would give the Bills?
I mean, the Bills lost 47-10 to the Ravens, so I would still say the Chiefs. I know it was a long time ago.
I hear you.
But you get your ass kicked like that, and that leaves a scar.
I hear you. But the problem is we can say that about just about everybody in the AFC.
Except the Chiefs.
Well, yeah, except for the Chiefs in that department. But you can be like, the Ravens lost to the Raiders. They're 2-8. How could they have done that? So you're going to still go Buffalo 2, though?
Yes.
Buffalo 2?
Chiefs 1, Buffalo 2.
Ravens 3 or Steelers 3?
No, not Ravens. Chargers 3.
Oh, see, I'm with you. I'm a little bit of that one. I feel like if the Chargers played the Steelers again, I feel like they'd beat them, but it'd be close, certainly.
That'd be a great wild card.
Oh my gosh, Tomlin,
game.
Harbaugh football teams, they might kill each other on the football field. It'd be so physical. It'd be awesome. It would.
Well, it almost was that way when they played. Like in what, week 3?
Yeah, week 3. It was like that. But Herbert wasn't healthy. That's where he hurt his ankle again and re-aggravated and did all that.
So Chiefs, Bills, Chargers, Steelers.
Then you're putting Ravens 5. Right. Okay.
Which is where they are right now, right?
Yeah.
No, they're not. They're 6. Chargers are 5. Chargers are 5.
Yeah.
Yes. And
yes.
And that would it would be the Chargers and the Texans in the wild card round. I think the Chargers would win that game right now. The Texans have to do a lot to restore faith, and make us think that last year wasn't just we kind of quietly beat teams we should have beaten and we strung together 10 wins.
Right.
They still don't have a signature win.
No, they don't. No.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.